printing. 3D printing. What an awesome thing! So hello folks, this is Dizzy from Team Titanicorn, your domesticated wargamer. Let us start with the first rather controversial topic. It is 3D printing. Yes. Several years ago, I've watched some videos and listened to some podcast by, I guess it was Kommissar Gamza, that was all of this militant, let's derail Games Workshop and print our own miniatures for Warhammer 40k and maybe some cheap rip-offs and poor scans and stuff like this. But all this stuff, it didn't rustle my jimmy. It was pure quality, it was not the best resin, not the best printers, and there was fuzzy details and stuff like this, and I'd rather stayed away from this, or in the past I've stand away from this. But it's a technique, and technique is improving in a rapid pace. And right now we are on the point where I can say I've got a printer, the Elego Mars 4 Ultra, that's rather better quality than most casted plastic miniatures I know right now. And my question for you, would you rather spend much money on plastic miniatures, or would you invest in a printer and print your own miniatures at your own pace? So these are two standpoints, I know this, and I would like to have a small discussion in the comment section underneath the video with maybe some people that say, hey, I'm purist, I'm for plastics, resin and metals, and the other folks say, hey, I like printing, printing is the thing, resin is awesome, I'm all on it. So my humble opinion for this theme is keeping in mind family father, money is an issue. I've delved into historical miniature wargaming right now. For example, to stay away from all these cheap scan, totally 100% rip-offs from Games Workshop's Space Marines, I think I go to historical wargaming. Yes, maybe you could scan an historical miniature by the Perry Brothers or by Warlord Games, scan this one and print it, but it is the reference for a guy in a uniform with several colors and belts on his chest and a musket or rifle, and those things look similar with each brand. If you see a maybe French Napoleonic line infantry man from Perry Miniatures and from Warlord Games, there is not much difference in between those, so I guess this is a good comparison for this thing, rather than say, hey, you got a guy in a sci-fi armor that's trademarked like the Space Marine, and here we got a guy in a power armor that is not called Space Marine, that is called Soldier of the Universe, and he's basically a total ripoff. So I think it's less complicating in the historical wargaming. And my idea for this is to show you some prints I've done previously on the turntable. These are out of the Tyrolean Rebellion from Piano Wargames. Link in the video description, and if I am able to, there up in the corners, a small info card. And these miniatures are line infantry from Württemberg, and I've bought the line infantry command set 1 There are 2 sets, and the line infantry regular guys. So these are 2 sets, and if I recall correctly, these are 6 miniatures each, and each set cost me €10 to buy it, to buy the license to print these miniatures for my own use, as many as I want. And if I want to flood my whole room with miniatures from the Württemberg line regiments, I can do this. So calculating all up, these are 2 times 10 for the STL file. There is the resin, and if I fill my Mars 4 Ultras building plate to the brim, I at least could print 15 to 18 infantrymen, and then I got round about €1, €1.20, depending on how I angle them to the build plate and how many supports need to be printed. And keeping that in mind, each set is 6 miniatures, so 6, 12. I can print 18 miniatures, so 1 command and 2 times 6 of those. So a full regiment, or maybe brigade, whatever level you play in historical wargaming. And I will spend, let's say, it's easier for the math, €23. If I check what a box of plastic miniatures costs, it is 24 to 30 euro, depending on the brand. And there are 24 to 28 guys sometimes. Then I've got a 6 less, but keep in mind, the investment for the STL file is only once. From now on, each miniature reduces the overall investment depending on the amount of miniatures I can print. Painting is a totally different story, but the investment on the miniatures I can print. So I invest the starting cost for the STLs. If I use STL, I need to purchase for money if I don't use free STLs. And then it depends on the resin and the printer I use, and all this cumulating to a rather awesome experience. I bought a printer for $300 or something. Yes, of course. But keep in mind, if we only take this example and maybe double the amount of miniatures we print, printing is before painting. $300 for the printer, $20 for the STL files, and let us say $5 for the resin and all the energy costs, and a small amount on isopropanol alcohol to wash it, and maybe 1, 2, 3 pair of gloves for the working process to keep your hands protected. We are kind of up to $325 European money. And let's say, what could we buy with this money? In historical wargaming, yes, this is much. There could be a full game starter, 2-player starter, a 1-player army starter, and another 1-player army starter. But it is only those miniatures in this quality from this faction they put into the start box. Often in historical wargaming, Napoleonic era, it is Brits against France. But what if I don't like this one? If I want to paint some French and maybe some Austrians, I need to buy the starter set, get rid of the Brits, and buy some Austrians for this one. So in printing, the start investment is higher, yes, but the more miniatures you paint, the more miniatures you want to paint but need to print before, the cheaper it gets. And I don't print only these historical miniatures, I print stuff for Turnip 28, I printed stuff for War Master, I print some custom bits for Conquest and stuff like this, and all this cumulated into a good thing for me, cause with this stuff I tend to stay away from the primus of the whole miniature wargaming scene that you don't want to blame, cause the hate squad will join in here in the discussion and will ruin everything. So, what is your honest opinion on 3D printing? I've gave you an example for historical wargaming, and you've seen the prints, so you can check out the quality. Yeah, there is no plastic miniature that I can show you as a comparison, but you've seen those on the turntable, and you can decide if this is good quality or if you say, come on, plastic is better. Maybe you got another opinion. Maybe you got a new idea. Write it down in the comments below, and I want to take part in this discussion. What could be our next topic for the Domesticated Wargamer? Should it be something like the whole world and maybe much of Europe is tending to the right wing and extremist policy right now, I guess? And could it be this hate speech thing in miniature wargaming? Yes, I've watched stuff like this. Or could it be like gender equality for custodies? Is this a thing we need to talk about? Come on, guys. Or is this something totally different? You write your suggestions for the next topic in the video comments under the video description. Come on, the words are in my head, but don't come out of my mouth properly. I hope you could. I hope you can get with the flow, and we see us in the next topic for the Domesticated Wargamer or on my channel. Check out the other videos. There is much German content, and there is stuff that is multilingual, and maybe you want to check out some other videos. We see us in the next one. I am Dizzy, out for today. Keep on wargaming!